Hello students, let us start with subject English Grammar, lesson number 20, punctuation marks and the use of capital letters. So let us start with the chapter. Now students, why do we need to learn punctuation marks and the use of capital letters? So the answer is, punctuation shows how the sentence should be read and makes the meaning more clear. Now every sentence should include at least a capital letter at the start or at the starting of the sentence and a full stop or an exclamation mark or a question mark at the end of the sentence. Now this basic marks or punctuation marks indicates that the sentence is complete. Over here we can see punctuation marks. The first one is known as full stop. Second one is known as comma. Third one is known as question mark. Fourth one is known as semicolon. Fifth one is known as exclamation mark. Sixth one is known as colon. And the seventh one is known as quotation marks or inverted commas. So now let us learn about all these punctuation marks one by one in detail. Now, the most common marks of punctuation are: first one, the comma; second, the semicolon; third, the colon; fourth, the full stop; fifth, the question mark; sixth, the mark of exclamation; and the seventh one, the quotation marks or inverted commas. Now let us start with the first punctuation mark, that is comma. It marks the shortest pause. It is used to separate a series of words of the same part of speech. For example, I bought mangoes, comma, guava, comma, grapes and watermelon. So over here, commas are used to mark the shortest pause in the sentences, as well as they are also used to separate a series of words in the same part of speech. Number 2, Bali, comma, Ashok, comma, Raman and Sohan met on the road. Now over here again commas are used for the shortest pause, as well as here they also separate a series of words of the same part of speech. Now B, used before and after the words in apposition. Now apposition means what? When we are talking about something in the sentence and which comes in the same part of speech. For example, Delhi, comma, the capital of India, comma, stands on the Yamuna. So over here we can say that we are talking about Delhi in this sentence. Therefore we can use commas in between. Why? So that we can separate the series of words of the same part of speech. As well as while speaking also we will give some pause in between, short pause, that is Delhi, the capital of India, stands on the Yamuna. Number 2, Ashoka, comma, the wisest of the Indian kings, comma, ruled nobly. Now over here again we will use commas in between for separating this series of words of the same part of speech. As well as while speaking also we will put some pause in between, or we will give some short pause, that will be Ashoka, the wisest of the Indian kings, ruled nobly. C, to mark off the name of the person addressed. For example, first one, Sohan, comma, close the door. Now over here Sohan is a name of a person and after his name there is a comma, or we can say we are using over here comma. Why? So that we can show or we can mark the name of this person who is being addressed. That is Sohan, close the door. Number 2, Raman, comma, come into the garden. So over here again we are using comma after this name, after this person's name, that is Raman. Why? So that we can mark off the name of this person Raman, that come into the garden, or Raman come into the garden. Means here we are addressing to Raman to come into the garden, and in this sentence we are addressing to Sohan to close the door. Now second one, semicolon. It indicates greater pause than comma and used to separate the series of words. For example, first one, I laugh, semicolon, I dance, semicolon, I sing, semicolon, I enjoy with you. Now over here we can see semicolons are given in between. Why? Because they separate the series of words. As well as while speaking also, we will take greater pause than comma. That is, I laugh, I dance, I sing, I enjoy with you. Number 2, I came, semicolon, I saw, semicolon, I conquered. Now over here again we can see semicolons are there in between of these words. Why? Because they are used to separate this series of words. As well as while speaking now we will take some pause which will be greater than comma. I came, I saw, I conquered. Third one, I am here, semicolon, you are over there. Over here we can see semicolon is used to separate the series of words. As well as while speaking also, we will take some pause in between. I am here, you are over there. Now third one is colon. It indicates greater pause than the semicolon. It is not used now except to mark off a direct quotation. It means that now this mark is not used, but whenever there is a quotation or we can say quote or thought at that time, we can use colon mark. For example, first one, a poet says, colon, a thing of beauty is a joy forever. Now over here a poet says, then we are using what? We are using colon mark. So we can say that this colon mark is used to mark off the direct quotation or we can say the direct saying of poet. And what does this poet says? He says that a thing of beauty is a joy forever. Number 2, the main character in the movie said, colon, where there is a will, there is a way. So over here again, we are using colon mark. Why? Because it shows the direct quotation of the character or we can say direct quotation given by the character in the movie. That is, where there is a will, there is a way. So when we will use colon, when there is a direct quotation given by some speaker or poet in the sentence. Number 4, full stop. A full stop is placed at the end of an assertive or imperative sentence. First one, example number 1, wait for me till I return. Now over here this sentence is in the form of imperative sentence. So after imperative sentence we will use full stop. As well as starting of the sentence will be with capital letter. Number 2, honesty is the best policy. Over here again the starting of the sentence will be with a capital letter and at the end of the sentence we will put a full stop. Number 3, read this book. Over here read R will be capital and at the end of the sentence there will be a full stop. So when we will use full stop? Whenever we have assertive or imperative sentence, at that time we will put full stop at the end of those sentences. Number 5, question mark. Now it is placed at the end of an interrogative sentence. When we will use question mark? Whenever we have an interrogative sentence and they are placed at the end of the sentence. First one, is it raining? Now over here we are asking question or we can say this sentence is in the form of question. That is it raining? So now at the end what we will put? We will put a question mark because it is an interrogative sentence. As well as the starting will also be with capital letter and at the end there will be a question mark. Number 2, what is your name? Now over here again, this is a question statement, or we can say it is an interrogative sentence. It starts with what, so W of what will be capital, and at the end there will be a question mark because it is an interrogative sentence. Number 3, do you like my new shoes? Now over here, do, D will be capital of do because it is the starting of the sentence, and at the end there will be a question mark because this sentence is in the form of interrogative sentence, or we can say it is in the question form. So when we will use question mark, whenever we have interrogative sentence, at that time we will put question mark at the end of those sentences. Now mark of exclamation, it is used after an exclamatory sentence. For example, first one, well done. Now this statement shows that it is in the form of exclamatory sentence. Therefore, there will be an exclamation mark at the end of the sentence. Number 2, what a luck. Now over here, this statement shows that it is in the form of exclamatory sentence. So there will be an exclamation mark at the end of this sentence. Number 3, what a beautiful day. So over here again, this sentence, it shows it is in the form of exclamatory sentence. Therefore, at the end there will be an exclamation mark. So we can say that with exclamatory sentence, we use mark of exclamation at the end. Number 7, quotation marks. They are also known as inverted commas. They are used to mark off the exact words of a speaker. Let us see the examples. First one, the teacher said, in between of quotation marks, time is money. Number 2, she said, in between of quotation marks or inverted commas, come here. Number 3, she said, in between of quotation marks, I am studying to become a teacher. Now over here, in between of quotation marks, we have words which are spoken by the speaker. Therefore, quotation marks are used to mark off the exact words of a speaker in the sentence. Now let us start with capital letters. A capital letter is used to begin every new sentence. For example, first one, he came to see me last night. His sister Sim was also with him. Now over here, H of he will be capital because it is the starting of the sentence, and his, H will be capital of his because it comes after the full stop, so we will consider it as a new sentence. Number 2, the boy went home. Over here, T of the will be capital because it is again in the starting of the sentence, as well as it is also a new sentence. Now capital letters are also used with proper nouns. For example, first one, Mahesh lives in Surat. Over here, Mahesh, it stands for the proper noun, as well as it is also a particular name given to a person. Therefore, M of Mahesh will be capital. Surat, it is also a proper noun, as well as it is a name of a place, or we can say particular name of a place. Therefore, S will be capital of Surat. Number 2, Maya is sitting in the classroom. Over here, Maya stands for the proper noun, as well as here we can say it is a particular name given to a person. Therefore, M of Maya will be capital. Number 3, Max was born in South America. Now over here, Max, it is a name of a person which is in the form of proper noun. Why? Because it shows that Max is a name given to a particular person. Therefore, M will be capital. South America, over here again, South America stands for the proper noun. Therefore, S of South and A of America will be capital. Why? Because it is a particular name given to a place. Therefore, we can say that capital letters are also used with proper nouns. Now, words such as O, God, I and O, they will always be used in the form of capital letters in the sentences. Now the first word of a sentence put within inverted commas. For example, she said, inverted commas, in between of inverted commas, this chapter is hard to learn. Now after this inverted comma, the first word, that is these, and the first letter of these, that is T, will be in the form of capital letter. Number 2, the poet said, again in between of the inverted commas, beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. Over here, beauty, B will be capital. Why? Because it is again the first word of the sentence. Therefore, the first letter of beauty will be in capital letter. Now, the first word of every line of poetry. For examples, first one, work while you work, play while you play. So these two sentences, they are in the form of poetry, or we can say they are poems. Therefore, the first word, that is work, W will be capital of work and P of play will be capital. Number 2, if you think you are bitten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. Over here again, these two sentences, or we can say these two lines, are in the form of poetry. Therefore, the first word of this sentence or of this poem will be in the capital form, that is I will be capital of if, and over here again I will be capital of if. So we can say that the first word of every line of poetry will be with capital letter, or will start with capital letter.